It isn't often I get to have one of my favorite people in the entire world join me on my show as a guest host. I've tried to convince this super awesome, super busy guy to become an author as well, so that I could feature him in an interview, but alas, that hasn't been the case. Fortunately for us, he was available to provide us with his personal top 10 book recommendations. This is really, really exciting. Welcome back to The Right Way, where we talk book recommendations, author interviews, and creative writing tips. Before we launch into this month's top 10 list, I have a few announcements that I think you should be aware about. Starting off, if you missed last week's Creators Corner Writing Tips video, you can find that video and get caught up. It's going to be linked in the card just above my head. We have just 2 more writing tips left for Season 5, and I'm really excited to finish off this run on world building. Patrons on Patreon, you get an early access to these videos before the premiere on YouTube, so make sure to check it out. Secondly, I will be hosting my next writing workshop on Saturday, June 17th. I'll be down at the Hanford branch of the Kings County Library from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. This month's topic will be focused on developing the overall structure of the narrative in your story, with the focus being on intentionality. The class is free, and all you need to do is bring a writing instrument, a notepad, or if you're high tech, a computer or tablet. This month's guest host, Jon Pehrson, is one of my favorite people in the entire world. I cannot state that enough. He's been my best friend for the last 24 years without fail, and he's introduced me to some really damn cool books over the years. He's seriously one of the smartest people I know, meaning his recommendations are worth paying attention to. So, here's Jon.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. My name is Jonathan, and I'm here to give you 10 recommends for summer reading. Let me tell you, there's some really good picks, and we have some variety of choice here, mostly sci-fi based, but I think you'll enjoy them. So let's get started. Hey everyone, coming in at number 10 is A Hymn Before Battle by John Ringo. It's a great book. It's the beginning of the Pauline War series. If you like sci-fi, if you like ground combat with a little bit of aliens thrown in there, it's a really, it's a good read. And even it was such a good series that they even have a few spin-offs, so I definitely would check it out. A Hymn Before Battle by John Ringo. Coming in at number 9, we have The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. This is the first novel in the Wheel of Time series. It's a wonderful series, lots of material if you're looking for it. It's one of the best known high fantasy series. Many of you may have already read this or read one of the others, but if you haven't, I strongly encourage you. Sword and sorcery types, it's an absolute must. Coming in at number 8, we have Young Miles. This is by Lois McMasters-Bujold. It is actually the story set in space of a young man who, despite some limitations, actually becomes a mercenary commander. And let me tell you something. It's a great read. It's really funny, a lot of humor, and I would definitely recommend it. The Young Miles is an omnibus, so it's a good place to start and get you into the series, and if you like it, there's plenty more to read. Coming in at number 7, we have An Oblique Approach by David Drake and Eric Flint. This is the beginning of the series known as the Belisarius series. It is a historical fiction in that the sci-fi elements are things from the future going back into the past that change things and what happens next and how do we do it. It's a really great series, and you actually can really almost feel like you're there. So I definitely would recommend that one. Coming in at number 6 is Off Armageddon Reef by David Weber. This is the first book in the Safehold series. It is written by the author who does Honor Harrington. So if any of you are familiar with that series, it's the same author. It is very different in that it's set in a pre-technological setting and it moves forward. It's really cool. And it also is a nice solid series if you're looking for something that's got some link to it. So I definitely would recommend it. Coming in at number 5, we have I, Jedi by Michael A. Stackpole. Now, with Disney's takeover of Star Wars, it's considered non-canon, but it is a standalone Star Wars novel that follows a member of the Rebels who learns about his Jedi roots. It is a really great book, and one thing I really like about it is the perspective. It is actually a first-person perspective, and that's something I always enjoy. I definitely would recommend you give it a read. Coming in at number 4, we have Old Man's War by John Scalzi. This is a very, very good book. It's very interesting. It is technically the first book in this series, but you don't actually have to read the whole series. It's great as a standalone, premise being what happens when instead of sending young folks off to war, we send our geriatrics. And it's got some really cool battle scenes, really cool tech. I strongly recommend it. Coming in at number 3, we have Under a Graveyard Sky, also by John Ringo. Now, unlike the previous book, which was sci-fi as far as aliens and everything, this one is actually what would happen if there was a worldwide pandemic of zombies. What's going to happen? How are we going to survive? Where are things going to lead? It's the beginning of the Black Tide Rising series by John Ringo. It's a great read. Lots of humor, lots of fun. I strongly recommend it. Coming in number 2, I have Stormfront by Jim Butcher. This is the first novel of the Dresden Files, which follows a wizard in modern-day Chicago named Harry Dresden as he practices magic, his private investigator skills, and generally tries to keep the world safe, or at least somewhat better place. It's a very long series. It's very fun, a lot of energy. I definitely would look into this if I were you. If you like magic, if you like thriller novels or crime novels, you definitely would get a lot out of it.
Before going any further with the video, be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon for notifications on new videos. You can select notifications for all videos, or you can select notifications based on your preferences. If you're watching on your phone, be sure to update those settings inside the app itself to get the most out of your viewing experience.
And my number 1 recommendation for a little summer reading, To Honor You Call Us by H. Paul Hunsinger. This is actually a very cool book. It is science fiction set in the future. It's got a very C.S. Forester, Horatio Hornblower feel to it. If you like pirates, if you like space, if you like boarding actions and aliens that are just intent on destroying everything and you want to get there first, I definitely would recommend it. It is part of the Man of War trilogy, and it is all 3 books are really great reads. I can't rave enough about it. Some of the things I really like is the way it's written. It really takes back to those old, novels like C.S. Forester, the Aubrey Martin series, which the movie Master and Commander was based off of. It's got very much that, army harpies, boarding ships and fire the cannon kind of feel, but it's set in space. So I definitely would tell you to check that out. It is available on Amazon. Hardbacks can be a little hard to find, but definitely check it out.
Now, if you're interested in finding any of these books for yourself, you can find the ISBN numbers listed in the order in which they were presented down in the video description. And if you'd be so kind, please help me celebrate Jon ringing in the big 4-0 by leaving happy birthday down in the comments section, because tomorrow, June 4th, is his birthday. Happy birthday, buddy. Hey, thanks for watching. Please hit like, hit subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications on new videos. You can support the channel on Patreon and the merch store. Those links can be found down in the video description. Make sure to tune in next week for the June Author Awareness interview featuring sci-fi writer P.L. Stewart.